Hey folks, Chris here with Jarvis Outdoors, out in the shop today, finishing up some last little details and packing, getting ready for our Western Kentucky hunt. We're heading out tomorrow morning to Western Kentucky for the rifle opener, which is this coming Saturday. So just out in the shop, got the oil changed in the truck this morning, checking out the rifle as you can see there in the back, making sure it's ready to go. Last little last minute packing, getting that taken care of, and we'll be heading out. So I wanted to talk about something, discuss, maybe even rant a little bit about something, and I apologize if that's what it turns into. But something that kind of hit home for me the other day. I have noticed it, but there's a group of us that at work that hunt, and we talk about hunting. We swap stories and strategies a lot, and there's a gentleman that works with us that's a non-hunter, but he likes to listen to the stories and ask questions. So the other day he came to us, and he had gone home the night before and had been flipping through the TV channels and came across the Outdoor Channel or the Sportsman's Channel, I'm not sure what, and watched two episodes of hunting shows. He didn't specify what the shows were, but he sat down and watched these two shows, and just by watching these two shows, he picked up on two things that he wanted to ask about. So he came to work the next day. We were all there, and he asked, the first question he asked was about commercials and promoting of products. He said that the show he watched, or both shows, it seemed like 75% of the show was commercials and the host promoting products, and 25% was actual hunting footage, or in the field footage, I should say. And he asked why that was, and what we said was it's kind of turned into a business, or it has turned into a business. These guys are making money off of it, and the way they stay in business is by promoting products, having sponsors, and stuff like that. So that's kind of why it's turned into that. And he said that if that's how they all were, we didn't have to worry about him watching any more outdoor TV, because that's not what he wanted to watch. So, and I understand that that's how they stay in business, but it is kind of disappointing that that's what it's come to. All commercials and all promoting the products when you're not on an actual commercial. So the other thing he asked about was he watched a show, and the guy or the hunter was able to harvest a huge non-typical whitetail within, the guy said, within like 30 minutes of being in the stand. And after he harvested the deer, there was more footage of 3 or 4 or 5 other big giant non-typical deer that the guy could have also harvested. And he asked if that's how it really is. Those of us that fair chase hunt know that that's not how it is. What these guys have turned to is high fence hunting. Because it is turned into a business, they feel that if they're not getting good footage and getting footage of hunts and harvest on TV, that they may not stay on TV. But I feel that that's kind of spreads a unfair light on how hunting really is. Those of us that fair chase hunt know that it may take a whole season or multiple seasons to harvest the deer that we're after, let alone some big, huge 200+ inch non-typical whitetail deer. So the guy asked how, by just watching TV or watching the show, you might know it's high fence hunting. And one of the ways I can tell, or you may be able to tell, is number one, if you see multiple big giant non-typical whitetail deer together, it's probably a pretty good chance that they're high fence hunting. The other way is if those deer, whether it's one or multiples, have big giant bright white antlers, it's probably a pretty good chance that they're high fence hunting as well. Those antlers being bright white like that are caused by all the minerals that those deer are fed to grow those antlers that big that quick. A lot of those deer are only 2, maybe 3 years old and have 200+ inch racks. And you know, or we know that that doesn't happen naturally. Typically, you need, you know, a lot of things in place to grow a deer like that in you know, 4, 5, 6 years, let alone 2 years. So it's kind of it's also disappointing that that's what it's come to. That these guys feel that they need to high fence hunt. I know myself, the guys I work with would much rather watch a fair chase hunt that the guy doesn't harvest anything, but just has good footage, than to watch somebody shoot something in a high fence. I spoke to an outfitter last year who had a group of guys come through his operation that had been to a different location and did some high fence hunting, and he told me that those guys, which were from a very popular TV show that has been on TV for coming up on 20 years, I believe, have turned to high fence hunting. He said that he was told that they had actually put a deer in a horse trailer and backed it up to a gate, and obviously that wasn't on footage, but when the deer came into frame, they harvested the deer, made it look like it was great TV, and that's what it was. They're not going to show you the high fence, they're not going to show you that, but that's what it's turned to, and it's pretty disappointing. The other thing that we told him that it's also done, Outdoor TV's done, is it's driven costs through the roof. Some of these hunts that you used to be able to go on for $1,500 and get a quality hunt have they're now $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 for the same hunt, and that's because it's turned into a business. But that being said, Outdoor TV, I think, also could have been possibly the best thing that has happened to hunting out there. I mean, there's more new hunters and more female hunters than ever before. And I think that's because of the popularity of it, and it's become very popular because of the exposure that Outdoor TV has brought to hunting. So, like I said, it's not all bad. There's definitely a lot of good out of it. There may be there's just a few bad apples, so to speak, and things that are going on that should definitely not be considered the norm, because there's still a lot of guys out there doing it fair chase and still making good TV and still staying in business. So sorry if it turned into a rant. I don't think it did too bad, but just wanted to get that out there because it really hit home when a non-hunter was able to pick up on that stuff so easily, and I just wanted to kind of talk about it a little bit. So leave me some comments below. Let me know what you think. Let me know your opinion. But when we get back from Western Kentucky, I'll do a video, let you know how we did, and wish us luck. So let me know what you think.